Yay!
Oh my
Yeah.
God! We are here with our darling. Yay!
Woo! So excited to be here.
Oh my goodness. On such a short notice, you are key.
Making it work.
Yes, more than that. Success loves speed, and you are super rapid in every one of your moves we have seen you do. So, Jessica, here's an intro, you guys. Jessica is our most recent graduate and one of our most beloved students of all time. We had an insane blast going through that coaching with her. It was like, oh, who should be paying the other?
No.
And so Jessica today has incredible insider tips for you guys because she has gone through incredible challenges that are very specific to this year's challenges in the home care industry, on top of the fact that she was on her own in her business and starting part-time. And it's quite incredible what someone can do with a spirit like hers in like a 2 months time. So, hi, Jessica.
Hi. Thanks for summarizing all that.
Of course. Oh, and by the way, Dr. Yasmin Sharif and Tyler Upsell. And what do we do?
We're home care marketing coaches. We help home care and home health owners get nonstop client referrals and staffing. We do that through powerful tools and powerful personal growth.
Yes, very, very deep and thorough personal growth.
That's a really small summary of all the amazing things they do. Just FYI. They're being very modest right now.
Oh, Jessica. Okay, so we are going to go through a few things. So first of all, we're going to ask Jessica to introduce herself. Second, we're going to do a snap, like we're going to talk about where she was at and when we started working together. And we're going to do this in a very particular way that we have done before with our student Michelle. And Jessica hasn't seen what you're gonna see, you guys. And then where she's at today. And then we're gonna jump right in the 7 insider tips for breaking through in marketing, in home care marketing and staffing at the same time. You guys, if you're here live, say hi. If you have questions, if you have questions, pop them in the comments. If you're watching the replay, type replay. We're super excited to see you. And we have like a contest now. So if you're here live, and you say hi, you get entered automatically in our weekly drawing. So,
and the drawing is for a group coaching session that's normally paid. Normally only our paid students get this, but those who
if you have questions, pop them in the comments if you're watching the replay. And my thing is like actually okay. All right, okay, perfect.
Yeah, so if you say hi on the live or ask a question, you get entered in the drawing, and if you're drawn, then you get to be part of that group coaching session where you get Dr. Yasmin and myself.
Oh, really? They get me?
Yeah, I'm offering.
For telling me. Okay, Jessica, please introduce your beautiful self.
Oh my gosh. Well, my name's Jessica Lontayo. I started Elegant Legacy Home Care about 2 years ago. It was an idea I had. I was working full-time as an occupational therapist at a hospital, one of the biggest hospitals in San Diego. And it just dawned on me, I was living in a kind of nice area, view of the lake in Rancho Bernardo. So I was really digging it, but I'm like, man, I'm working like 8 to 5, 6 days a week. I hardly see my husband. I hardly see my dog. I hardly see my family. I hardly see anybody. I'm just working. I'm like, I got to change something here, and as much as I loved the hospital life, in my job, I just felt like there was something missing. I needed to be a part of something even bigger than what I was already doing. And so then it dawned on me, because while I was working at the hospital, I always ask my seniors, what do you do for fun? What do you like to do? Oh, I like to watch TV all day, or I used to like to do this, but now I don't, and I'm like, well, that's kind of sad. Why? Why is that a thing? And so then I just kind of got inspired to create my own home care industry where I could have caregivers not only enhance the quality of life and increase their independence or maintain their independence with their everyday skills like showering, cooking, laundry, the whole shebang, but on top of that, incorporate meaningful activity, to again, enhance their quality of life. And so that was my idea. I started at the end of 2019 and then the pandemic hit. And so naturally there were a ton of delays of getting approved. I was finally an approved agency by October 27, 2020. And then at that time I was still working full time in my hospital. So naturally I was pretty fatigued after work, and I would give it, a day. I always gave it a day a week. And usually half that day was, wait, what did I do last week? Did I make this call? Did I make that call? I started investing in other random marketing things that just weren't working, and still aren't working to this day. And I was like, there's gotta be, I'm missing something here, and then I'm going on Facebook and I happen to see a post about you two and how incredible you guys are. And I'm like, that's what I need. Not only a marketing coach, but someone who's really holistic about the person running the business and doing the business. And so I reached out to Dr. Yasmin. We hit it off instantly, and they're telling me things that I'm like, can I honestly do it? Like, can I really do it? Can I really get constant referrals? Can I really handle that? Like, I was so nervous about every little thing. It was ridiculous. It was crazy. And the next thing I knew, I went from 0 clients from, October of last year through to September of this year to 3 clients, 2 memory care contracts. I'm probably going to get a 4th referral in the next couple of days. We're still chatting. And 17 home care aides, but I have at least 10 candidates I'm still interviewing, and we're still growing. And this was literally in 77 days, guys. Like, it's like I spent all this time by myself working full time, but also trying to give time for my business. And then I jumped onto this program, and it was literally life-changing, not only for my business, but for like me as a person, and to really dive into the entrepreneur that I knew I always was. So that's just like the skin of the story here. I'm just I honestly am honored to be here today because I know you two work with a lot of incredible talent. So just thanks again.
I just wanted to mention, first of all, thank you so much for your incredible words there. And thank you for summarizing your path, because a lot of our people will relate. And a lot of them actually have asked us. And before you, it was difficult to say, oh, we had someone who was not only alone, but also part-time. And so you're an exceptional case. You're the youngest of our students, and you started working on the program in your marketing and staffing while you working part-time as an occupational therapist at the hospital. Yeah. And then you had no other help than yourself and your brilliant.
Thanks
so just like for people to know what's possible, here is someone to give you insider tips. And nice. A mention on like when we talked the first time, we hit it off, and I was like gushing over. I was like, Tyler, you're gonna love her.
She did. She sent me a DM saying you're gonna love her.
Yeah, and I was like, I cannot wait. Like I just want to hang out on the phone with you. I just want to hang out. And actually, it was the longest epiphany call in the history of my epiphany calls. I promise you, because we were just there, like we had started actually working right there together. It was incredible. So and so I came out like, oh, like on cloud 9.
And every and all suggestions y'all made, like honestly, are the reason I'm here. All of them. And because there's some I was like, wait, really? Like, naturally you're bringing up ideas that are daunting because it'll force my business to become successful. And that's exactly what it did, and I'm glad you brought that up, Dr. Yasmin, because I transitioned to part-time at the beginning of my time with you. And literally as of 2 weeks ago, I became a casual. So I went from like 40 hours to 32 to 24. Now it's like 8 to 16. And fascinatingly enough, literally in the last 2 weeks was the shortest time I worked at my hospital. And that's when all the referrals hit me. That's when all the good personalities of caregiver candidates hit me. That's when the memory cares came in and were like, we need staffing ASAP. You know what you're doing. Let's do it. Like, it's just fascinating how that correlated. And that's basically what y'all told me. And it's like, how do you know this? So I'm just throwing that
take a note or two on making leaps of faith from Jessica.
Yeah, and I wanted to mention, like, we talk a lot about trusting yourself, and Jessica knew that it was time, but she was kind of delaying it, right? Is that fair?
Yeah.
And there was fear, concerns, is it the right time? And so when we suggested, yeah, we think it's time, Jessica already knew. Right. And we'll tell you that if you're in tune with your higher self, you know most of the time what's next. And when you hear it from a coach, it resonates.
Yeah.
So,
the right coach, the right personalities, the right environment is key.
Mm-hmm.
And you guys gave that to me. That's why I wasn't able to achieve I wasn't able to achieve what I achieved now a year ago, 6 months ago, 5 months ago. So that's key too.
And you had all of those things inside and they're now out in the open. We're so excited. So we wanted to show you guys. So we're jumping in part 2, and part 2 basically is a snapshot of where Jessica was at and how she was before she started working on her marketing and staffing, before she enrolled in the program officially. So that was normally, again, so we did this with Michelle, and normally this is a private portion that's dedicated to the graduation call. Jessica has been super sweet to not only let us share it with you guys, but she's going to discover it at the same time as you.
Oh boy.
Okay. All right, so we're going to share a snapshot from September 2nd, 2021. Today we're November 23rd, 2021. So that's about 2.5 months ago, like barely 2.5 months ago. And so let's see where we were at with Jessica and what her goals were for her coaching and her business and herself. All right, let's do this, share screen.
Great.
And her screen.
May as well.
I should select this. All right.
Now switch, because we have inversion.
Okay. Can you see our screen?
Oh goodness.
Yeah, guys, if you're on mobile, might be a little bit small, but you'll capture. You'll still hear everything.
Here we go.
So, Jessica, here's your snapshot on September 2nd, 2021. Tell us where you are at right now, personally and in business. Personally meaning like inside and where you want to be in 9 weeks through your coaching program and beyond. If you'd like to share.
Personally, I'm still working my 9-to-5 job, and I'm kind of everywhere with my business. I've got some things organized here, some things organized there, but it's not where I would like it to be yet, right? I just initiated the mastermind class with Dr. Yasmin and Tyler, and I'm really looking forward to seeing how my business grows. And physically, I'm in a parking lot of a hospital, and I'm looking forward to having my own home office.
So just full time right now, trying to actually go from trying to just get 25 hours,
Yes.
which is the minimum shift. She's a licensed occupational therapist with amazing vision for her home care, like short-term and long-term vision. But so as of right now, she has started marketing like a few months ago, and then also trying to interview applicants or caregivers. But as of right now, it's you and only you. Is that correct?
Yeah, only me.
Correct. And then there's no client just yet. No client, no caregiver.
caregiver either. So I'm on the very, very beginning right now.
Okay, perfect.
And then in 9 weeks, what do you want yourself and your life to look like?
9 weeks, I want to be able to quit my 9-to-5 job. I want to have the financial autonomy to be successful, but also help others, spend more time with my husband and my family, and have a business and a home care agency that truly enhances the quality of life of my clients.
Would you like to number some of these things? Are we looking at a specific number of weekly billable hours at the end of the 9 weeks?
The end of 9 weeks, I don't know why my gut's saying 1,000, so I'm gonna go with that, 1,000 a week. That's
Oh my God, okay.
I don't know why. I know that's crazy and overambitious, but for some reason my gut is saying that, so I'm just gonna go with the feeling.
Okay, that's way over the 385 we calculated, but
I know.
let's go for it. Okay.
Thank you for going with the feeling.
Yes, absolutely.
Thank you for being non-judgmental for the overambitious statement.
Never like we love it. This is how like you make friends with us. It's like be ambitious and then shower yourself with something.
Yeah, and we've seen and done the impossible over and over and over again. So nothing would shock us, especially if you're feeling aligned.
I wanted you to speak a little bit about the confidence aspect. What is your goal on that?
My goal is to be the confident businesswoman that I know that I am, that I visualize, that I've seen, and that's what it is, because I visualize it, I meditate on it, and I see it, but I keep getting distracted by what I visually see, and I want to be able to kind of just separate that and visualize and be more in alignment with what I know and who I am, who I know I am, which is a confident spiritual businesswoman.
What does that do for you, and how do you feel when you embody that?
What that does for me is not only enhance my quality of life, but gives me the financial autonomy to help out my family. It also allows me to help out the quality of life of my clients. As I told Dr. Yasmin, I have a vision on changing home care. And it gives me the autonomy to know that I'm making a difference in a variety of people's lives. It's a scary world, trusting a stranger to come into your house and help you with your everyday living skills. And I want to make that a more positive experience and more of a partnership, and really help these seniors get to where they want to be in their life.
Oh my God. I don't know what to say. It's just what I was distracted by was how nervous I looked there compared to now. Like hair's all fuzzy in the hospital parking lot, like saying things that I knew I could do, but at the same time I was really afraid. I'm like, am I being too ambitious? Could I honestly achieve this goal? Like, am I in over my head? Like that's why I noticed in my own facial expressions, I was so nervous and like really intimidated by everything. And not even 3 months later, I'm in that home office. Like my hair looks better. Like,
Thank you. Unrelated, but
I mean, that's astounding. You would think that Jessica was from years ago. I'm so happy that you guys did that and that you shared that. And it's kind of amazing how much in alignment I actually was, even when if you know what I'm talking about, like that's insane.
I know, right? Isn't it amazing to watch yourself, retrospectively and think, I was on point. Like I was hanging really, possibly a little too loosely, but I knew this was the right direction. I knew I could do it. But yeah, you were on point and you were incredible. You were adorable and you were nurturing you had the right goals for Jessica. And so we're talking about a Jessica who was in a parking lot, dropped to 40-hour shifts or 25-hour shifts at the time. And 0 clients, 0 caregivers, 0 referral sources, 0 network. To today, she's in her home office, dropped to casual. How many hours are you working in as a licensed occupational therapist?
Right now, like 8 to 16.
We're so close to quitting that 9 to 5. So close, you guys.
I do love it too. It's kind of my side gig. So,
It's true.
but it's nice to have that freedom to have that though, you know, not
Exactly.
be relying on it anymore.
Yeah, absolutely. And you're bringing that vision and that experience from your licensed therapist, occupational therapist, you know, exposure into home care, which is incredible. That's part of the vision. We're not gonna spill the beans here, but you hired 17 home health aides in the last, 10 in the last, 10 days or something.
Yeah.
Right.
Seriously.
Hi Nisha, hi Dinesh, and hi Aster, hi everyone who's here. Like, say hi. We're super excited to see you. And then we're talking about 3 client referrals. So you got referred clients, dude. You got referred.
Yeah.
It's not you did not just find them and then had to convince them. Someone was convinced about your value and they sent you referrals because they trusted your value.
Right.
Okay. And so we're talking about 2 memory care units, and you're signing contracts with 2 memory care units. There are conversations, and Jessica wanted to delay this interview, but we were like, dude, what you did is so incredible. You don't need to wait for that 24/7 referral, because we're waiting on a 24/7 referral insider information, you guys, anytime now. Okay. Which, like, what? You also got trusted with that. And your stories about your referral partners are incredible. They're incredible. It's like, oh my God, you're making friends everywhere you're going. It's incredible. So this is the snapshot, you guys. And that happened. Like, this is the video you saw was 2.5 months ago. Is that how you say it? Or 2 months and a half? 2.5 months.
It's crazy.
All right. So let's. Okay. How are you feeling? Can you feel the accomplishment and pride?
I'm feeling overwhelmingly excited. Like, I mean, especially after seeing lack of confident Jessica from really not that long ago to how I'm feeling now and what I'm doing now, and how I'm honestly there are chats about 24/7 clients right now. So it's honestly going to happen soon. And just knowing not only the growth, but how quickly it happened and the circumstances I was going through in that moment, like still working part-time, still having a puppy. The other thing I forgot to mention is I bought another house and we had to move there and sell our other one. So that was another thing to deal with. So I'm just so excited, and I'm really, it's just nice because I not only seeing how your strategies and your program has improved my business and all of that, but it's honestly helped me as a person gain confidence, gain self-esteem, know and trust myself that I can freaking do this, like it's just all the tools that you've provided me, not just from the marketing and the technical standpoint, but also the personal side. It's like double whammy, so it's even better. And so it's really exciting to see the comparison in such a short period of time. And it makes me really optimistic to see what next year brings and the future.
Oh my God.
This is awesome. And Jessica, you guys is an awesome implementer. We often say, yeah, sure, we've got tools that have transformed our lives and we've shared them with others, but we can only share. The coach can't transform your life, right? The person who receives it has to go put it into practice, and she's done exactly that with like everything we've told her. She went and put it into practice, along with still trusting herself and following her internal compass. So there were a few times where we said this or this, or we gave a suggestion and you went a little bit to the side, but it's because she trusted herself.
Yes.
Okay. And we're right there. If we thought it was a bad decision, we would have shared, but it never was.
Mm-hmm.
So anyway, I just wanted to mention how amazing she was at implementing, and that is absolutely key.
Absolutely. And I remember the shifts where we're given recommendations, and Jessica was asking tons of questions at first, and she's like going to come back at this and say, oh my goodness, I was asking so many questions, which is fine. We loved it. And then taking it all in and then exactly implementing in that way. And just a few weeks later, we're coming up with a suggestion and recommendations like, you know what, I'm feeling more this way because this and this happened. And I'm like, ooh, look at you, woman. Yeah, go for it. Yes.
Oh my God.
Without further ado, because we've got all of those tactical and insider stuff that Jessica has used to transform not only her marketing and not only her staffing, but like both things at the same time, knowing that it could be a cycle that could be really tricky to break through. So first set of secrets about your marketing, Jessica, let's dive right in. So 3 secrets that allowed you to have incredible referral partners and now weekly client referrals.
Okay, I don't even know where to start with this because a lot of it is from your program, quite frankly. But honestly,
what stood out for you?
Sorry, what?
What stood out for you?
What stood out for me? What stood out for me, first of all, was doing the letters. Honestly helped a lot. So your roadmap kind of gave me the structure I needed at first. It's like, do this, follow up with this person, talk about this, whatever. And so that structure is what I needed as a foundation to just go ahead and get started and see what works, So honestly, the key, first of all, is reaching out to your local facilities. And that includes home care. I was really skeptical about reaching out to the home care agency at first. I'm like, no, aren't they the competition? Like, no, they're not. Honestly, like you'd be surprised. Like I'm partnered with 3 other home care agencies right now, and we help each other out because of what the market's doing. And actually, yeah, I would not have thought of that 3 months ago. But yeah, that's a big thing, is just getting to know and sending out letters to your local facilities and reaching out to them. Secondly, when you do have these luncheons and dinners, really take notes about them, ask about them personally, like really, and also trust in yourself. That's the biggest thing. Trust in yourself that you're going to ask the right questions, you're going to say the right things, and that you're going to know if this is going to be the right partnership for you or not, both on the technical side and the personal side. And you'll trust yourself to know what words to catch, what things to say, it kind of just happens really organically and naturally. So just trust yourself in that. And following up is key. Something that Tyler specifically said is like, it's honestly like a relationship. If you just have a dinner and leave, like nothing's going to happen. You got to follow up. It's honestly like a marriage. You got to follow up. You got to show interest, but you also got to show why you're beneficial to them and vice versa to keep it fresh. That way you can continue that long-term partnership. And so what I did was, after I would have these lunch or dinners, is I have a spreadsheet of the date, who I talked to, where they're from, and notes of what we talked about, and then ideas of how to follow up. So that way, in like the next week or 2, I'll follow up again and bring up that common interest. And then also, if anything else happens to remind me of them, just to kind of keep that conversation going. And then that in itself makes it more personal. And naturally, they're actually offering me, hey, why don't we do this marketing gig together? Or, you know what, I was thinking about going to this church. You want to go with me? It starts becoming really natural, opposed to like, hey, got any referrals? It's a different approach. For sure.
You got any referrals?
Creep alert.
Oh my God. I know, right? Now that's the creeper, like the stalker vibe, right? Yeah, so that's a big thing when it comes to establishing those referral sources, because I can say from firsthand, word of mouth is the most effective way to get referrals. I have personally invested thousands of dollars in marketing elsewhere, and nothing has worked. Like, who looks at billboards? Who looks at magazines? Like, honestly, nobody does. And I know I personally don't. So why should I expect anyone to do that? I personally partnered with a local grocery store and had my logo pinned on their prescription bag. And it's been 6 months, and to this day, still nothing, honestly. And yet 3 referrals within 2 weeks. I mean, and that's word of mouth. So I'm just saying, word of mouth is key. And word of mouth is established through initiating that letter that we talked about, which you'll learn through Tyler and Dr. Yasmin how to write. going and being successful with your luncheons or coffee meetings, following up with them, and then going to networking gigs that they may offer to invite you to, or you may research and find on your own, because some are public, you know, and making those connections, getting business cards, following up, making notes of what you have common interest in. And that's the biggest thing. And then also something you'll learn through Tyler and Dr. Yasmin is, really talk about, yeah, you're a home care agency. This is what you provide. Here's a slight twist on why we're different. And here's what we can do to build trust. And they'll tell you exactly how to do that. And I swear it's worked. It works, and I honestly, strategies that is honestly not common knowledge. It's all their genius. So, honestly, it's hard to just quantify and say, step 1, do this, step 2, do that, step 3. It just kind of all merges together. And helps, and honestly builds off one another.
You're dropping tons of actionable nuggets here. You guys drop hearts because this is super awesome. Jessica, thank you so much. Okay, this is a ton. And so a mention about the letters. There's quite a bit that's already written, right, for you, and what the portion that you have to customize is not that much, but it's critical, and you do this really, really well.
Thank you. Yeah. I forgot to mention too, journaling. Journaling is key. Journaling is absolutely key. So I used to journal before I started with you two. And it was nice, happy sunshine statements, but it wasn't in the structure that I needed to really honestly attract what I wanted to attract. And it wasn't specific either. And so doing that journaling, I feel like was in alignment with my timeline. It was in alignment with honestly, me coming up with ideas out of nowhere that worked, and I feel like the journaling is what kind of planted the seed in my head to start that, and it also helped me specify what I wanted. I told you guys when I first started hiring caregivers, I wrote in my journal, I wanted passionate caregivers. Boy, did I get passionate. Oh my goodness. I had to filter that. It was the caregivers that were and I love it about them, but super chatty, tells me all these fantastic stories about their career. And I'm like, that's great, but it's only me. I have to get to this meeting. And this has been 40 minutes now. Oh my God, I'm just asking if you have a negative TB test. How are we talking? And so I got passion. So I'm like, all right, journal, I see what you did. Okay. Sweet, reliable, time-sensitive caregivers, So yeah, journaling will help you also structure what you want and visualize and honestly structure what is and what's in alignment with what you need. And so that's that. And in addition to the letters, honestly, how prompted good conversations, attracted the right partners, and then it's just a domino effect ever since.
So beautiful. And you already started on journaling in a better place than most people, right? A lot of times it's dear diary, here's my day.
Shitty day.
Keep attracting the same thing.
Yeah, journaling can be kind of like putting paving stones in front of you, right? And then you walk on them.
Right.
And this style of talking about all the stuff that happened, especially that you didn't like, it's like taking that paver from behind you, putting it in front of you, and stepping on it. And you, when we shared the upgraded journaling, you latched right onto it, and it's awesome because Jessica's telling you guys that she put in what she wanted. And then she got it, and she's like, oh, maybe that's not exactly what I wanted, right? And then refined, and we adored watching this process and watching her discover what it is she really wanted, and then creating it. So
thank you. Oh my gosh.
So well done. Oh my goodness. These are incredible tips for the marketing side. And just to keep it contained.
Yeah, we'll go all over the place.
Oh my God, you guys,
so much good stuff.
Long coaching calls with Jessica. You would be hanging out with us a long time. So this is intentionally me, and it's not because I'm not enjoying myself. I know you're loving it, and thank you so much for the hearts and likes, you guys. You're awesome. So you guys, let's move to part 2. Part 2 is about staffing. And we had people who had a few months ago reached out to us, and because we could not, safely guarantee that we're going to have a focus on staffing, then they paused on their initiative to, come and work with us. And it's interesting because Jessica did not have the staffing piece in place either, but she did a leap of faith there as well. I told her we are going to help as much as we possibly could. And the story turned out completely differently. We were both were in the trenches and involved in making this work. And today we're super excited and proud that, oh my goodness, we had this times in the past where our people, before we hadn't done anything, they believed that we could help them in something that there was not even any evidence on. And so let's talk about the staffing piece. Because we were talking about a place 2.5 months ago where we were talking to people on the phone that were not even nice to talk to. And it was scary to have Elegant Legacy's name associated with that kind of service. But you don't even think about it at the point where you're trying to interview, because you just want staffing. But then when you pause and you see what you were exposing yourself to, you're like, oh my goodness, these guys are representing my company. If I hire these guys, I would be in big trouble. And so that would be solving possibly a short-term thing. So it was a great thing that none of these guys were hired after all. But so how did we go from there to, we're talking about taming the passionate features of your applicants and having 17 home health aides, 10 hired in the last week or so.
Talk about a 180, right?
Yeah.
The power of journaling and all your other techniques is the evidence of that. Seriously. So staffing's an interesting one. So I have a couple of revenues that I use for recruitment. I use Indeed, I use my CNA Jobs, and I also use Google Campaign, but you have to find a certain representative to do that for you. So it's not like black and white. I would ask Tyler and Dr. Yasmin for more information on that. But those are kind of my main 3 avenues right now for staffing. There's a couple things to do when you get your candidates. First of all, timing is essential. If you see a call and you're suspicious that it's a candidate, you better pick up that phone, because more than likely you're not the first one they're going to call. So especially at least in the market of California, time is key, because if you don't answer, they're probably on to the next job, quite frankly. And so timing is key, and then giving them a task that kind of forces them to respond to you in a timely manner. So what I tend to do is, after I ask my questions, I do my screening, and we're vibing pretty well. I can see they have a good personality. And also, this is part of my assessment in and itself of their initiation and their ability to follow through. I tell them, well, you know what, I love all these qualities about you. I really hope we can work together. So why don't we do this? Can you text me your email address? And that way what we can do is we'll follow up through email what we'll need from you. And so that's step 1, guys. If they can do that within minutes, which honestly they should, because they're literally on the phone with you,
Right.
That shows how responsive they are and how responsible, dependable they are. If they take an hour, you already know they're either fishing around or that's a personality deficit in itself. So that's already key number 1. So let's say they do text you your email address. So now it's important for you, if you're keeping your word and you honestly want them, to email them right away. And to make the tasks short, easy, and give them a deadline, people. I made the mistake of giving my whole list of what I needed, even though they're kind of simple things, I need your COVID vaccine card, I need a picture of your driver's license. It's stuff that takes minutes. Just having a long, daunting list of that and not having a deadline and keeping it abstract, naturally it's I'll do it later, I'll do it later, I'll do it later, especially when some of them probably haven't worked in 2 years. So, having a deadline of I need this by tomorrow evening, all of a sudden they're oh shoot, I need to commit to that. And so typically they will follow through with that. And again, if they don't, if if they had strong qualities, feel free to follow up within the next day or two. You're kind of chancing it though, because if they're not following through, that could be a red flag. Or honestly, there could be a personal event, and if they tell you about it, then giving them the benefit of the doubt, right? So those are kind of the key things there. Trying to think of what else, but those are some key points that I've used that appear to be effective.
That's fantastic. So there was a point where we didn't even have enough applicants to begin with.
Yeah.
And so it's good to have at least a little bit of a number so that we can work on improving the rest of the process. What would you say from My CNA Jobs to Indeed to the Google campaign has been the biggest source of applicants? Or maybe distribution, possibly.
Well, technically, Indeed gives me the most applicants, but actual people who I've hired that are following through and are picking up shifts, a little more Google campaign, but Indeed is right behind it. My CNA Jobs, unfortunately, this is anecdotal, of course. This is not research-based or anything. My CNA Jobs has given me a couple of my caregivers. However, because of how the website is designed, it's literally designed for CNAs and home care aides to look for a job. So naturally, they're not just applying for yours. They're probably applying for other home care agencies. And also because of generally how the system works, they're probably working for you and somebody else. So naturally, they're less available. So for that reason, I personally have not found that much success with My CNA Jobs, specifically because of how that website is technically tailored, right? But on Indeed and the Google campaign, it's a lot more specific once you get the candidate, if that makes sense. So that's been my anecdotal experience, though.
Beautiful. Thank you for sharing.
Absolutely. And then My CNA Jobs, you have to realize that there's a 12-month contract. Is that we understood?
Yeah, they stick you on a year. It's $400 a month.
Yeah.
Very expensive.
Versus Indeed and the Google campaign, it's a lot more flexible. And then Jessica's genius intervened here as well, because we're working together on that Google campaign. And so because of her input, now she has a number from which all of the candidate calls come through, and she has assigned a customized ringtone.
Yeah.
So now she knows basically when it's a care, because we all get marketer calls, right? We all get robot calls. And it was an incredible insight. And it's like, okay, oh my God, yeah, let's do this modification. She did that. And because you guys, we talked about this stat before, below 4 minutes, if you do not respond back to your lead, whether it's an applicant or a client, you have 80% less chances of having any kind of business with that person. 4 minutes is really quick, okay? Because like Jessica was saying, they're browsing, like they're looking, okay? So if they found you, it's awesome to be there if you can. So Jessica had hacked or tweaked the process, and we worked together, and this is her campaign now, and she's doing an incredible job. And she's also she's a good tracker, you guys. She tracks her stuff really good, and we also insist on that. But you took it to the next level with your referral sources, the conversations and everything's the things that you talked about that were basis for it, because we have a follow-up. We would call it the Thermomatrix follow-up tool to give you ideas to follow up. But then obviously, if you're inspired, there's no better. And then for the caregivers as well. So we're tracking things that helps her now see which avenue she should be investing more time and finances in.
Yes.
Right.
And this is
Go ahead.
Well, okay. Will you remember what you were going to say?
Yeah.
Awesome. So I was going to say this is subtle, but what we track grows. So just the tracking itself is a secret, a little key there.
Pearson's Law.
Yeah. And I wanted to mention too for our viewers, Google, it can be an excellent source of caregiver applicants. Just heads up. There are a lot of elements, okay? A lot of things that have to be right. What can happen if you don't have that is Google can spend a lot of your money without a lot of results.
Right.
And so it's not just technical knowledge of how Google Ads work, but there's also, you need the home care industry insight, copywriting. So there's a few elements. If you're, it's just to mention, because we're talking about Google being an awesome source for Jessica.
She did not implement the campaign herself, you guys. Okay, just so you know. If you start to try to be an expert at everything, you're not going to do anything right. Gina, you said very expensive. I'm sorry, I missed the point at which you said very expensive. Was it about or the Google campaign?
Probably my CNA jobs.
I think it was.
That's where I put a number. Yeah.
So the thing is,
can I add my 2 things real quick?
Oh my God.
No, it's okay. First of all, to add more to the Google campaign, you two also, not only do your services really help with the person and the marketing and all that, but we kind of bled into how to more successfully attract candidates too. And that's an amazing feature that you guys have that isn't common. So I'm just throwing that out there that's effective. But on top of that too, honestly, the big thing is how you interact with the candidate. When I was first starting this before working with you two, I was so like desperate. I can tell they can sense that. I was like, oh my God, my first caregiver. Oh my God, like I hope they pick me. Oh my God, like, and so it was like nervous Nelly over here trying to hide it. And so naturally, I'm attracted to people that are like, what do you pay? Just straight up, not even hi, my name is this, my job. Just straight up, like, what do you pay? And I didn't know how to answer those questions. Or like, when do I start? Do I get overtime? I only work 12-hour shifts. Just like really a huge sense of entitlement, And so you two also taught me too that I'm the freaking prize. I'm the one that's going to help them. I'm the one that's going to pay them. I'm the one that's going to train them. I'm the one that's going to give them the opportunity to work with the awesomest seniors in the world. And so they should be wanting to come to me. And so when you have that different mindset and you have that different visualization, you naturally come off differently. And so you're going to attract the candidates that align more with that and less of the entitled. And if you do get the entitled, you'll know how to ricochet it. Because obviously, I'm going to get a handful that's straight up like, well, what do you pay though? They may not ask firsthand, but eventually they do kind of squeeze in that question when they think it's appropriate. And what I said, and honestly, this is insight from advice from you two, is, well, it really depends on how you do with the interview and if we choose to select you as a candidate. And immediately they stop. Because they're like, oh, I didn't get it yet. Like I kind of put them back in their place of, you're still a candidate. You still need to impress me first. And based on how we interact and your experience will determine if you qualify and what your rate will be. And that puts them back. Okay. And so that's a big key because we are talking about how to get said candidates. Now, how to keep them and get the right ones. This is kind of the stuff that I'm referring to right now.
I love that you brought this up. And we hear a lot of times these false beliefs, they're true for you or not you, but they're true for the individual at the time, right? Like, well, applicants are just entitled. Well, that's just a belief. And like you mentioned, Jessica, you're not going to change that person, but you can change who you attract.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So thank you for doing that.
Tactically speaking, you also did something else that was really, really bold because you mentioned this. It's a competitive market in San Diego. Everyone around has incredible incentives and bonuses. Mm-hmm. And we're starting out and we're really tempted at that point to also be competitive in some way for clients, but it doesn't work out to attract the right caregivers. So Jessica, and we remember exactly like when she went to us and she's having all these thoughts and she's like recalibrating, right? And what happened there? How did you make it work so you are also a competitive and attractive employer?
Great question. So yeah, honestly, adding incentives, sign-on bonuses are key, but make them work a certain amount of hours before they get it. Especially caregivers, because remember, more than likely, they're probably not working just for you. So you want to make sure they work a certain period of hours to get that set on sign-on bonus to protect yourself and also to get them to want to work for you, so it works both ways. I also have referral bonuses as well. So that helps me continue to not only build my empire of caregivers, but also referrals for clients. Because again, word of mouth, like we talked about, is key. Also, like I said, just reminding them too of all the other little legal incentives, because they may not be aware of that, like paid time and a half, paid time off. They do get paid time off. Some businesses don't have that. Mine does. But to also tell them what that is and what that looks like, because some of them are like, what's PTO? And so I kind of explain that. I also just have random little things that I came up with, like I'll pay time and a half on their birthday if they work their birthday. So, not only is it like just a, hey, happy birthday, it's also, hey, thanks for working. Like I prefer you to stay with your same person. I'll give you a little extra because it's your birthday, versus me looking for someone else to cover your shift. And it's something kind of different. So when you come up and get creative with little things that other companies don't offer, that also kind of triggers the ears to open up a bit, because it's like, oh, that's kind of cool. Or when I tell them my incentives, my candidates, and actually like, I've never heard that before, or wow, that's really nice. I really like that you offer that, and so just again, being creative with the little things that you can afford, but also structuring it to where you'll benefit, like the sign-on bonus. They have to work a certain amount of hours first before they get it.
And not just that, because that would not be sustainable if the business was absorbing all of these costs, right? So there is one more thing that Jessica did to actually make this equation work, where it's not the business that is lowering the profit margins to make this work.
Right.
So what did Jessica do?
What did I?
So can I give a clue? Because I'm like, I don't know this. You guys, this is not rehearsed, okay? So you guys, when you're starting out, we have noticed, and we've all been there, right? We're starting thinking that our competitivity will come from our low prices, and it's quite the leap to go and think, am I worthy of increasing my prices? So guess what Jessica did to make all of this work?
I'm glad you reminded me of that, because it's easy to forget the little things that you've overcome and that you've changed over time, and take for granted that. So thanks for reminding me, because I honestly almost forgot. I increased my prices a significant amount for multiple reasons. First of all, through your guys' teachings, I realized that I'm worth it. Like we have a different mental space here. We have different services that are unique of other home care agencies. So we are worth the price tag tagged along, Secondly, by increasing the rates, you naturally can increase the pay for the caregiver, which can increase in retention, which is big for you because it costs a lot of money to constantly be recruiting, so that is key. And then thirdly, and this kind of goes without saying, but do secret shopping too. So that way you can kind of determine how far up you can go. And then kind of based on that, and kind of based on the companies you're talking to, you can kind of devise what sounds good to you. Some home care agencies, they're just one flat rate and that's it. Others kind of range it depending on the case. Some change it on hours. Personally, for me, I'm just one flat rate, but I discount it for 24/7. But again, everybody's different. And I've found with that, obviously, I have better candidates now because I'm able to pay them more, and also the thing is I thought the same thing, like, am I really worth it? Like, can I really increase my rates? Like, no, I really just want anybody. I'll take the 2-hour shift. I'll take it. I'll make it work. No, that's the worst thing you can do. You overpromise and underperform, first of all, by that mental mentality. But secondly, too, it's like most caregivers, they want long hours. And so you naturally start figuring out and compromising ways of, no, like, this is the minimum hours that we're willing to take. We're not doing 1-hour shifts from one side of the city to the other, and you learn how to either say no or work with the family to kind of express why you're worth this rate, why you're worth this amount of hours, how they can benefit, how the time is used. So that way you kind of come up with the common knowledge. And if it doesn't go the way you want, quite frankly, you may have dodged a bullet. I'll give you one example. I had somebody call me recently, a few days ago, And she was honestly, her IHSS caregiver, I guess, was on vacation, and she just wanted a companion for like 2 hours a day. And I'm like, I can't do that. It's really hard to staff. I can't guarantee that I'll be able to staff. And, you know, quite frankly, it's not worth it for the caregiver or for her. And I kind of explained that. But honestly, 6 months ago, I would have made it work. I probably would have been the caregiver to be there. And now I'm not the one doing what I need to do, you know, the marketing, the calling, the recruiting, all the other things I'm doing right now. So then I'll be distracted and not allow my company to grow because of this client. I mean, I wanted to be there for her. So what I'm doing is I end up giving her resources of other avenues. So I'm just saying, no, okay, thanks, bye, you know, like, and that's also key to building your networking with other home care agencies, because if you can't take it on, then you can refer them out to someone else. And that honestly solidifies the partnership that much more when you have that capacity to do that. So just a couple things, you know, big ticket versus small ticket, prioritizing well, using your staff for the bigger tickets, because that'll improve the caregiver's retention, that'll improve your salary, that'll improve your quality of your business, versus multiple small tickets, lots of call outs because of that, and just kind of referring them out to establish your networking further.
Wow, you guys, what a treat. And you really are privileged
Seriously.
in this interview, having all these things shared.
Are you guys enjoying the
Yes.
interview? That's a lot of insider tips. She's incredible.
That's what you two taught me.
Dude,
I can't take credit for that.
the home care CEO, you know, like knowing her shit. And no wonder people, you know, refer to you. You know what you're doing. So, okay, last part, you guys, because like you're spilling all the beans. Okay, actually, I know there's more stuff, but we don't have time to cover these, because she has incredible business strategies.
Yeah,
That-
we could spend all day here.
Oh my
It's
God.
all
Oh my
live stream.
goodness. And she was like, this newbie coming to a lunch and learn, and she nailed, was it a lunch and learn where, or a breakfast and learn where you got kind of grilled by people in suits,
Oh yeah.
but you nailed it because
Forgot.
you had your stuff on point. So last part of the secrets, the staffing and the marketing, especially when we're starting from scratch, is kind of a cycle. So we were talking about it in the last live trainings these few days, where you can't staff too much in advance, because you're going to have people who are just going to go somewhere else. And if you market too much without having staff, well, then who's gonna, you know, to take the shifts? So how did you manage, Jessica, to break through in both staffing and marketing for your home care business
At the same time.
at the same time?
I don't even know. I don't even know. I do not recommend doing this by yourself, just so you guys know.
Number 7.
I mean, honestly, the fact that I'm growing this fast on my own is mind blowing, because I feel like it will be even faster if I had someone else doing some of the stuff I'm doing by myself. But yeah, okay. But all joking aside, but honestly, slightly serious too. I really don't know. Setting aside time is key. Something you two taught me is like the MVP. I took that to heart, of like strategizing what needs to happen right now and what can honestly wait until the next day. You know,
MVP is minimal viable product. It comes from our tech background, but
thank you for clarifying that acronym. Yeah. So because, you know, it's optimal to do your to-do list like basically right now, right? But at the end of the day, especially if you're doing this on your own and you're still kind of working part-time and still have a family and all that, like you have to optimize what to do. And so honestly, just strategizing what honestly has a due date like today, versus what can honestly wait till tomorrow, just having that skill set. And then also, again, having the confidence that you're going to make the right judgment is key. I know I wasted a lot of time perseverating on, should I do this first? Should I do this first, or that, or this, or this? And so next thing I know, I totally wasted 2 hours like trying to figure out what to start. And I should just jump in it and trust that I'm going to make the right choice. So doing that, and then writing down notes and making calendar reminders to yourself too is key. Like I mentioned, on my phone with my the people I've networked with, I literally set an event to remind myself to call them or text them on certain days, certain period when it's been a certain period of time, because I know with everything else happening, I'm going to forget, you know? And so that's honestly the key. Like, take advantage of your calendar on your phone, or something that will get, or if you do paper calendar, that's cool too, but something that you will look at or that will ring at you to remind you to do that. And then honestly, just taking a few minutes to strategize what actually needs to happen now versus tomorrow. And obviously this goes without saying, but the referral source, when it comes, automatically is priority, because they're usually in crisis mode. They usually need someone right away. And if you don't pick up the phone, they're not going to wait for you, you know, so you better pick up that one first and then candidates, right? But obviously the referrals are the number one priority by far.
This is incredible advice. And it's interesting because sometimes we wish for no challenges, and it's these very challenges that force us to seek the help and refine our systems so that we are on point. So would you agree that actually having less resources, like help or time, ultimately got you faster to where you want to be?
Ironically, yeah, because it forced me to like respond in crisis mode. You know what I'm saying? It forced me to prioritize and use my time efficiently and honestly problem solve in that moment. And the other big thing too is, like you mentioned, like honestly expecting, not like necessarily manifesting the chaos, but expecting it, because by not expecting it, that's just unrealistic and you're going to be freaking out every time it pops up. But honestly, that's just life, no matter what you do, you know? And so expecting it, and again, trusting yourself that you have the tools to get through it, you know, is honestly the biggest thing. So yeah, ironically, with the limited sources, it's benefited me. And, you know, quality over quantity, right? Like investing more time in those small nitpickets versus being kind of everywhere and too spread out, you know, definitely your quality is better here than here.
Beautiful, beautiful. And thank you for, you know, playing along when I asked you to basically systematize something, you know, like not even a time to do a retrospective. But we kind of did that with Tyler. And what I wanted to share with you guys is that at least the order in which Jessica went with to order marketing and staffing is she started with marketing first. Is that right? And then we're starting to see momentum. And then we're like pausing, but the momentum is still going. And then we're taking care of the staffing. Is that right?
Yeah.
Okay. So just to give you like one example of how it worked, but there is a way to get everything, you know, jump started, so it works symbiotically.
And honestly, marketing is, sorry, just to add one thing, marketing is key to start first, because that's how you solidify your relationships, because that takes time in itself to blossom. And so that's why I kind of started, I got my referral sources going, and then I eventually started branching out to caregivers. And fun fact, at least in the state of California, if they already have a home care aid registration, you can hire them literally the same day. You know, it's the ones that don't, that take a while because they have to do fingerprinting and all that. But legally, if they're already a home care aid, you can get it tomorrow. And then if you have them tomorrow in no hours, you're chancing retention being an issue again. And so that's why, ironically, it's important to at least start the marketing, being transparent to an extent about it. Like when they ask you, oh, how many clients do you have? How many caregivers? It's like, you know what, I'm brand new, but, you know, I'm more than willing to start. And this is why I'm so valuable. This is what I bring to the table. This is what you're going to expect from me. That way they're not stuck on, oh, but you're new, you know, like really highlight your strengths in that aspect. And then the other thing too is, especially working with home care agencies, they're going to be short-staffed. They're going to need your help. So that's going to help with your caregivers getting hours. You know what I'm saying? But you need to solidify those partnerships first before, because if you have a bunch of caregivers with no hours, you're going to get low reviews. They're going to run away from you, and you're going to be kind of screwed, you know? So it's important to establish those relationships first, then kind of do the recruitment, and then kind of do them both simultaneously. That has worked for me anecdotally.
Oh my God, guys, take notes. Are you guys taking notes? Because like that was a big one. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. We are at the top of the more than the hour,
Yeah.
right? And that was like an incredible beans.
Flew by.
We adore you, Jessica. And
Love
now our community does too. So,
okay, so as we wrap up, is there one thing, or what one thing would you like to leave people with? What's like the if you can only pick one, one piece of advice to leave our viewers with?
Invest in you too. Honestly, and this is organic. Like they literally asked me less than 24 hours ago, hey, can you do an interview on your success? Like that was literally what it was over a text last night. And I'm like, I need to highlight why I'm successful. And it's honestly you two. It's your program. It's effective. It works. It works. Your business will blow up overnight. You know, you will also see a change in yourself and honestly mentally, and like you'll gain confidence that you know you have, but has been suppressed by something. And that is the biggest takeaway, honestly. And this is genuinely how I feel. Like, invest in you too, because there's so much gold in this program that you will not get by yourself, that you get specifically from your teachings. And that's what's going to help you grow as a person and as a company and improve your quality of life. And it's just the best thing I've ever invested in. So that's my biggest takeaway. Find the right mentors, which are right here. Honestly.
We love you, Jessica. Oh my God. Nisha says congratulations to you. And she says this was awesome. And we agree. And thank you so much for this incredible shout out and appreciation. Seriously, it was an incredible blast to be working and watching you, to be working with you and watching you. Oh my God. It was like, what adventure Jessica has in store today.
Yeah. I want to mention, we're not the right coaches for everyone, but when
I'm biased.
When it's a fit, it's what we look for, right? Matches made in heaven. And
right.
This was one. Jessica has been incredible at implementing and trusting yourself. And my goodness, thank you so much for coming today, for sharing with the community. Guys, there's a lot of things that may not sound that key because they sound small, but truly everything Jessica shared today should go like in your notes on your wall. Use a Sharpie if you want. It's worth it. Lose your rental deposit because you wrote it. It's all worth it. Go for it. So.
Thank you so much, Jessica. Best wishes to Elegant Legacy. You guys watch Elegant Legacy Home Care.
Yeah, let us know.
Yeah.
Jessica said she might be open to another interview later, like updates. If you guys want to follow her story a little bit, we'll see if we can make that happen.
Oh my God, Kelvin, thank you. So many great insights here. Jessica, you are amazing.
We agree.
Thank you so much. You are right, Kelvin. Thank you for this public appreciation.
Thank you for your time to the viewers. Thank you for your time right on the week of Thanksgiving. I mean, it's an honor to be able to talk with you guys too. Honestly, I'm so flattered that y'all made time to hang out with us today. So thank you for that. Shout out to you guys.
That's true.
Awesome.
That's true. Well, oh man, it's time to go.
Yes.
Okay.
Seat. Yeah. But this is how the end of our coaching calls end. Like every time, like, no, you hang up. No, you hang up. No, you hang up. Okay. In 3, 2, you're still there, aren't you?
So true. Telling you guys, it's a relationship.
It's true, yeah. And even this on our coaching calls, you're seeing us, all blowing kisses, and each relationship is different, but we love our people.
Jessica.
Yeah.
All right, and you guys, if you need any kind of help or directions, reach out to Tyler or myself, and we can take it from there. Okay, and we'll see what kind of next best step is good for you. And on that note, have an incredible rest of your day and an incredible Thanksgiving.
Yes.
And we will talk to you soon. Thank you, Jessica. I love
Thank you. Love you guys. You can do it.
it.